at noon. First, the highlights. Lagos State Government restates commitment to developing 21st century professionals in health and the education sector. Federal government reaches agreement with gas companies to supply additional gas to meet growing demand. On the foreign scene, United States President considers joining Israel on Iran strike as both nations exchange fire. In sport, Nigeria hurdler Tobi Amusan returns to Diamond League action in Paris. Now the details. I am Taiwo Baruwa. The Lagos State government has reiterated its commitment to developing 21st century component professionals, especially in both the health and education sectors. Speaking during the third matriculation ceremony for newly admitted students of the Lagos State College of Nursing Lasco Igondo for year 2024-2025 academic session, Commissioner for Tertiary Education Tolani Sule emphasized the importance of the ceremony, marking the beginning of new era in the college, especially with the appointment of the new provost by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Sule, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Tertiary Education, Adeniro Kasali, appreciated the governor for staying committed to the Themes Plus agenda, especially on health and environment, as well as the two pillars on education and technology. He said Governor Sanwo-Olu has a passion to ensure quality healthcare delivery in Lagos through a highly trained professional workforce, while commending the state government for putting in place the necessary infrastructure facilities of the new hostel block, which is almost completed, as well as the construction of the new administrative block. He stressed that the present administration had put in place different infrastructural facilities for the convenience of the student and is also working tirelessly to ensure that the college would not miss its accreditation for the next 5 years, as approval has been given for the process. Also speaking at the event, Provost of the college, Ayodeji Ogumuyiwa, encouraged the student to remain resolute and determined to be the best in their academic pursuit to remain excellent. A magistrate's court in Bolade Oshodi has granted bail to a 70-year-old suspect, Kayode Otitoju, who was arraigned on a 2-count charge after he was arrested at Lekki Phase 1 for vandalism, an ongoing fence work project by the canal setback being undertaken by the state government. The court granted the accused who pleaded not guilty to the 2-count charges preferred against him bail after an application by the defense counsel for bail on the most lenient terms, including 200,000 naira bond, one surety, presentation of 3-year tax receipt and verification of address. The case has been adjourned to July 25 for commencement of the trial. The Federal Road Corps FRC has issued a strong warning to motorists against offering bribes to its operatives, emphasizing that all traffic fines must be paid through designated banks. The FRC, in a statement signed by its public education officer, Olusegun Ogungbemide, says any motorist found attempting to bribe FRC personnel would face arrest and prosecution. The agency reiterates its zero-tolerance stance on corruption, stating that bribery contradicts the values and standards procedures of the Corps. It stressed that all fines collected during patrol operations were paid directly into the federal government Treasury single account, not to any individual. The Corps also cautioned FRC officers against soliciting or accepting bribes from road users and urged the public to report any such misconduct through official channels, describing them as key partners in the campaign to ensure discipline and safety on the roads. Now to the rest of the stories. The federal government says it has reached an agreement with gas companies for the supply of an additional 20 million standard cubic feet of gas to meet the growing demand for compressed natural gas CNG by vehicle owners. As part of its broader strategy, the government said it plans to convert between 125,000 and 200,000 vehicles to run on CNG by the end of this year. Speaking at the official launch of the Mobility CNG Supply Framework in Abuja, the Program Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Uluwagbemi, said the initiative aims to getting the deployment of 1 million CNG-powered vehicles by 2027. He added that the federal government, in collaboration with private sector partners, is also accelerating the rollout of the CNG refueling stations across the country to support this transition and to create an enabling environment. In commemoration of the 2025 Day of the African Child, UNICEF and key stakeholders have called for more strategic public investment in child-centered services, urging government at all levels to match commitment with action. Speaking at a media dialogue on public spending for children's rights held in Lagos, Chief of the UNICEF Field Office for Southwest Nigeria, Celine Lafocria, decried the continued deprivation faced by millions of Nigerian children despite decades of advocacy. Lafocria lamented that too many Nigerian children still lacked access to clean water, healthcare, education, and protection, basic services guaranteed under the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, which Nigeria ratified over 3 decades ago. While highlighting the role of journalists, she encouraged them not to be bystanders, but to help in shaping public thinking by turning allocated budget numbers into real outcomes for children through correct spending, asking to get at questions, doing follow-up on the money, and writing stories that lead to action. Lafo Creary called for collaboration among all stakeholders to ensure that every naira spent reaches the children it is meant to serve. On his part, UNICEF's chief social policy specialist, Mohamed Okorie, said Nigeria is making progress, but not fast enough, emphasizing that budgeting is only the first step, and without adequate, equitable implementation, children's rights remain unfulfilled. In foreign news now, President Donald Trump says the United States is considering joining Israel's strikes to get in Iran's underground nuclear site as the two nations exchange fire for a 6th day. Trump has earlier called for Iran's unconditional surrender and says he knows where the country's leader is but will not kill him for now. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, says it will never compromise with Israel and will show no mercy. Israel says it struck a centrifuge site in Tehran and weapons facilities as part of its overnight barrage. Iran launched its own attacks on Israel with sirens sounding twice overnight. In sport now, Nigeria's Tobi Amusan will return to action at the Diamond League when she lines up in the women's 100 meters hurdles at the Meeting de Paris on Friday. Amusan's appearance in Paris will be her 4th Diamond League outing of the season. She began her campaign with a 4th place finish in Xiamen in 12.74 seconds and followed with another 4th in Zhongzhen in 12.66 seconds, but bounced back emphatically with a season best and made a record 12.45 seconds to claim her first Diamond League win of the year in Rabat last month. The world record holder and 2022 world champion will be up against an elite field in Paris, including world medalist Kenny Harrison, raising Jamaican star Akera Nugent, Poland's Pierre Skizwonski, Dutch champion Nadine Visser, Devane Charlton of the Bahamas, and current leader Grace Stark from the United States. And that's it on the news at noon. But just before we go, always obey road signs and traffic lights. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. Visit our website www.trafficradio961.ng. You can also listen to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM live on my Lagos app for timely updates. Did you know that under the Sanwo-Olu administration, 51,514 graduates applied for the graduate internship program designed to expose interns to hands-on work experience You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. The Lagos State Government has reiterated its commitment to developing 21st century component professionals, especially in both the health and education sectors. Federal government has reached an agreement with gas companies for the supply of an additional 20 million standard cubic feet of gas to meet the growing demand for compressed natural gas (CNG) by vehicle owners. We also told you that President Donald Trump said the United States is considering joining Israel's strikes to get in Iran's underground nuclear site as the two nations exchange fire for a 60-day. Finally, in sport, Nigeria's Tobi Amushon will return to action at the Diamond League when she lines up in the women's 100 meters hurdles at the Meeting Day Paris on Friday. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adesua Ejoyoka. I am Taiwo Baruwa. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon.